bloodsuckers.
As you walk through the valley of the shadow of hell,
Join us!
you will realize that there is something ahead. Something that lurks behind the dark veil.
We have such sights to show you.
A veil that is beyond our own comprehension.
I'm just gonna bash your brains.
Beyond the void.
What's up, guys, and welcome back to Beyond the Void
Horror Podcast.
I am your host, Alex, and my lovely co-host is
Christina.
We are here for episode 177, live in the bunker, coming to you live and direct from the industrial scenes bunker in Arizona.
Okay.
So not really, but we're all quarantined for the most part, at least the ones that are not stupid enough to go around spreading it, as we've been seeing.
And I'm on my first day of quarantine tomorrow because I now work from home.
Right, that's right, yeah. We just had to fucking set up her whole computer and we're at home and
Pain in the ass.
give her like a separate section and like, because she's like part of the essential pharmacy tech.
Yeah, pharmacy people.
Yeah, so she's got to work.
I got to work so you can get your medication.
I'm glad you're home though, because like every time you went out, I'm like, she's going to catch it and she's going to bring it here and I'm going to have to kill her and put her in the garage.
Right. I'm not looking that forward to working from home.
I know.
But if all these fucking idiots didn't come to work sick when they were told not to come to work sick,
right,
then I could probably stay in the building.
They put a sign on the door, guys, first, and then they put a big fucking like one of those things that you'd put up on a stand so that you could do a presentation at fucking work.
Yeah, that said, don't come in sick, or if you have a fever, stay home.
Yeah, so and they still did.
They still came in.
So they're like, all right, well, now you've ruined it for everyone.
The whole building has to go home. No exception.
Truth be, though, like, if anybody was sick with it anyway, it wouldn't matter if they showed signs of sickness. So,
yeah,
I mean, they're saying that it has like 14 days, that you can be sick. Some people earlier, some people later.
Right.
So, but anyway.
Anyway.
There is some silver lining that has happened during this time, and there are a few things that have come out that are helping people cope with the time that they have. Obviously, hopefully this doesn't last as long as we think it will, but, hey.
You never know.
We never know, if it's hard for people on day to day, week to week, to have food and shit like that.
Right.
But, for those of us stuck in our home, I mean, obviously I have an entire collection of movies I could watch literally for 2 years straight without missing a movie, or like repeating a movie. So yeah, guys, if you're looking for any stuff to watch or listen to, please check out our YouTube channel. I'm trying to build that up and get more people on it. We do a lot of other reviews and things on there that we have done, like Guns Akimbo. We did Ghost Killers versus Bloody Mary. We did Verotica. I mean, there is a ton of stuff on there. Even Fantasy Island 2020 that we reviewed on there, or I reviewed. So if you haven't already, please do look up Beyond the Void Horror Podcast on there. This is probably the best time to be listening to podcasts since there is nothing to do. It's either that, watch movies, listen to music, keep each other company,
Dance
play games.
Around, go for a walk.
Right. Mm-hmm. But some of the theaters have closed, obviously, so there are a couple movies that came out by Universal and Blumhouse, which is
The Invisible Man
and The Hunt, which we're going to be talking about today. And it was really expensive to rent.
They were extremely expensive to rent.
Yeah, it was $20 a pop, guys.
It's price. Do you think it's price gouging? Do you think it's taking advantage?
I don't think they should have charged that much, considering that me and you will pay $11 to go see a movie during the day.
Yeah, for the two of us. They should have charged like $13.
If everybody was like going to other people's houses and they were worried about it, we're in a quarantine.
Yeah, exactly.
People aren't hanging out. You're not going to fill a room of 20 people and then expect, oh, well, we're charging 20 to give the average, but, it's something new. This is the start, and we don't know if it's going to change things inevitably, but, we've always kind of thought that eventually it would get to that point where we would be able to watch movies from home, and it would be more expensive to kind of counterbalance it anyway. So I guess this makes sense. Right?
Right.
$20.
But a lot of people don't even make $20 an hour.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's kind of...
Well, it is an hour and a half movie, so one of them... Well, one of them's 2 hours, so...
Right.
I'm just saying.
So that's $10 an hour to watch the movie.
I'm talking about both the movies.
Oh, I'm not talking about both the movies. I'm talking about one movie.
Right. So, yeah, $10 an hour, basically.
The math's easier for one...
I see what you mean.
2-hour movie. The math is easier, Alex.
I'm losing my fucking mind, Christina. I've been in here for days. Soon we're going to eat the dog. So
poor Murray.
Yeah, sorry, Brady.
No,
when we run out of beans, you're going in the pot. Do you know how to skin animals, by the way? Or?
What?
I'm just kidding.
You're out of control.
Speaking of quarantines, I think it might be that time.
Oh, yeah.
Horrorshots! Christina had sort of an idea. She got the idea from somebody's comment. Why don't you go ahead and explain?
Somebody said they were, quarantined, so they were going to start drinking Quarantinis.
Right.
And I was like, oh my God, that's such an awesome name.
Then, so we decided, this is like a week ago. Mm-hmm. We were going to do it for last week, actually, but we decided not to because we usually theme our horror shots based on the movies that we're watching. And we decided to do something a little different today and just do a shot based on the situation that we're all fucking in right now for the most part. Hopefully some better, some worse, but we thought it would be kind of fun to have a Quarantini shot that we would make up. So we figured out the ingredients for this. And part of it is actually something I used to do on tour. Uh-huh. We would do this pretty much on a regular basis.
Right.
Just because to have something to mix it with. But it was Daniel's idea in a way. And then you came up with the ingredients on your own. So it's like...
And then you're like, hey.
Yeah, so this is not based off any of the movies that we're watching today, guys. This is specifically just a Quarantini based on the situation. Yeah. So, and of course... I can't believe I actually have to say this. This shot will not prevent COVID-19 from spreading, nor will it help you in any other regard other than give you something that tastes delicious. Or so we hope.
Oh, we hope. Yeah, we haven't tasted it yet.
Well, I know what it tastes like because I've had them before, but they're not amazing, but they're not bad.
Okay.
So anyway, Christina, why don't you go ahead and tell us what's in a Quarantini?
So we have an ounce of vodka.
Right.
Just straight, and then a half a packet of emergency.
Right.
The emergency packets, and then we topped it off.
The orange one. Orange flavor.
Yeah, you have to do the orange ones. You need to get some vitamin C gummies. The ones that look like
orange
the orange slices. Yeah. And you got to put them on top.
Yeah, you can stick them on a toothpick so that you would do it kind of like you would with olives in a martini.
And also, if you want to see a picture of the shot, if you didn't know, we started doing the actual pictures of the shots we're taking. It's linked and on the website, the picture of the shot.
Yeah, we'll be posting that later on. But if you want to check it out, go to our horror shot section at longlivethevoid.com.
That's right. So we're going to do this. Let's do this.
So Christina actually made it. We took some really fancy pictures, which we're really proud of.
Yeah, and I'm really proud of these. I forgot I had these...
stir it up. Make sure you stir it.
These martini shot glasses, which I don't even think they're shot glasses. I actually think they're candle holders. Now,
we didn't mention the other things that we're supposed to tell them, Christina. There's a process. There's simple ingredients in this. There's literally 2. 1 ounce of vodka, and a half a packet in each shot that you're going to do. We even have these little martini glasses, which are really fucking cute, that are like shot glasses. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to put on your surgical gloves. So we're going to put those on real quick.
Putting on my glove.
This is the one you used. Great. Now I'm going to die.
What?
I got little puffy fingers. You gotta make sure you pull out the tips of the fingers and squash down like kind of like a condom. When you use a condom, you make sure the reservoir is still good there. I'm just kidding. So then when you put on your gloves, after you put your gloves on, you're gonna stand about 6 feet away.
So social distancing.
Social distancing, good practice, good health. And you say, wash your fucking hands! Oh.
You said it was good. Oh, God, that's disgusting.
Eat the gummies. It was pure vodka.
My mouth's burning. Was your mouth burning?
I mean, it is vodka.
Yeah, but vodka usually does.
Once you're done, you're going to take the surgical glove and help out your partner with a Corona hand job. So
I'm not even laughing.
I would use lube, but make sure straight from the pump. You could even use some of the hand sanitizer. Maybe that would help jerk somebody off, and you clean it. So I mean, it's kind of like a killing two birds with one stone.
Gotta kill those germs.
Right off your dick. I don't know about the vagina. That might actually hurt. Although I think alcohol in the tip of your pee hole would probably suck too. Anyway,
didn't we watch some movies or something?
Yeah. So if you guys would like to try a Quarantini, all you got to do is go to longlivethevoid.com and check out our hashtag Horrorshots section now. That's it for Horrorshots. All right, guys. So now we're going to jump into our flesh and potatoes of our The Invisible Man and
The Hunt.
Right now.
Christina did the work on this one, just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Just a heads up, we're going to do our spoiler-free part for this, by the way, like we always do. So if you don't want anything spoiled, don't worry. And you couldn't afford the $20, don't worry. We have timestamps below on all of our stuff that we put this out on, including the link to the episode and even in the SoundCloud, all the notes of every episode. It always has the timestamp, so don't worry. But anyway, Christina, go ahead.
The Invisible Man from 2020.
Yes.
When Cecilia's abusive ex takes his own life and leaves her his fortune, she suspects his death was a hoax. As a series of coincidences turn lethal, Cecilia works to prove that she is being hunted by someone no one can see.
Who is it?
Oh my God.
It's the Invisible Man!
The tagline for this movie is, what you can't see can hurt you.
That's the tagline.
That's the tagline.
That's terrible.
What you can't see can hurt you.
That sounds terrible.
It really does. I think it was on movie posters too.
Ugh.
All right. This was written and directed by Lee Whannell.
Whannell.
That works. All right. He also directed Insidious Chapter 3, Upgrade, and he also directed the upcoming Escape from New York. And he's written scripts for the whole Insidious series, Cooties, and Saw 2.
Nice. Yeah, he's done a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I just said.
Yeah, that's what I mean. He's written a lot more than he has directed, though.
He's written a lot more than these. These are just like the staple.
Yeah, he's just directed
shit
like
we
4 things, I think, at all.
Yeah. And he's written all the Insidious series, so anyway. And that was a good series. I like the series. Anyway, all right. Starring Elizabeth Moss, who plays Cecilia. She's most known for Handmaid's Tale on Hulu. She was also in Mad Men, Girl Interrupted, and she was in Us.
Jordan
from last
Peele.
year, yeah.
Jordan Peele's Us.
Okay, Oliver Jackson-Cohen plays Adrian. He was in The Haunting of Hill House on Netflix, and he was also in The Raven, which we watched recently. Adelis Hodge, who plays James, he was in Hidden Figures. I love that movie. Straight Outta Compton. Haven't seen that movie. He was in that Black Mirror episode, Black Museum. Storm Reed, who plays Cindy, who's James's daughter. She's in the upcoming Suicide Squad movie, and she was also in Wrinkle in Time.
A Wrinkle in Time, yeah.
The
new one or
yeah,
the old one?
the new one with Oprah. Because when you even go to her IMDb, it's just like Oprah everywhere.
Right.
You know, the budget for this movie, it was $7 million.
Has it made any?
So far, it's grossed $123.6 million.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
That's huge.
It really is.
Wowzers.
And that's
I'm
not
impressed.
even these digital ones, because we got it the first day. So who knows how much it's making on digital.
It seems like the best movies seem to be Universal and Blumhouse when they team up.
Yeah, I think you're
like Blumhouse seems to kind of, I don't want to say drop the ball. It's not about that. It's just I think they're doing too many projects at once.
Right.
And Universal's like, hey, we need to organize it. I don't know what it is, but the two of them combined, even if you don't like their movies, I'm not saying that just because they're doing well means you like them. There's a difference.
Right.
What I am saying is that they're actually very successful working together. So.
Right.
That's interesting, though.
And then what did you think about this movie, The Invisible Man, Mr. Alex?
Mr. Alex. Sounds weird. So, wow. What a fucking surprise, dude. Like, first off, I was half and half with going to see this movie when I first saw the trailer. I was like, eh. On one hand, you know, I thought, hey, this isn't a bad idea to combine an obsessed fucking crazy guy with the Invisible Man. We've kind of seen this before in Hollow Man, but in Hollow Man, where Kevin Bacon, he is self-inflicted. He takes on this drug, if I recall correctly. He injects it into his body or something like that, and then becomes crazy because of it.
Oh man, I don't
and he
even
loses his
remember that
mind.
movie.
So it's similar to that, but this one's like the guy was crazy beforehand. So, you know, I've seen other movies with similar concepts as this, not the invisible part. That's the anomaly. That's the different thing.
Right.
That's the piece that like ties it all together. But I've seen other movies that have done similar concepts like this, whether they be relationship thrillers or something like that, you know, like Home Invasion of these guys or whatever the fuck it is.
Psycho Stalker.
Yeah, Psycho Stalker kind of boyfriends or even
girlfriends.
Ex-homeowners, like that one movie with fucking Randy Quaid or whatever.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Similar kind of concept in a way, but the story for some of those tend to jump the shark a little bit, you know? So it can be kind of bubblegummed up and turn sour throughout the movie. Like it'll be good for a little while and then it's just like, okay, here's where the movie couldn't sustain itself.
There's filler.
Yeah, like it's something about it, you know, it's like, okay, well the cat's out of the bag, now it's just garbage.
Right.
I don't know, those movies tend to do that a lot. But no, on this movie, The Invisible Man 2020, it's like a thriller slasher and one that actually takes its time and really lets not only the killer score work with this movie, but the pacing of the shots and the camera work all work together perfectly. Like it's really good. And add in some, you know, pretty good acting on top of it to combine into this sort of thriller slasher with like really great pacing and direction. You know, it really surprised me as to how well it was done. I really felt like a lot of tension right from the beginning. And a little frustration as the protagonist, who is played by Elizabeth Moss, is put in some very frustrating situations with people not believing her, which is a typical trope in these kind of films.
Right.
Regardless if it's a horror, invisible, whatever. You know, most movies that attempt to do this somehow cheese it a lot, like we were talking about by the end. There's like just some really bad stuff, and you have to really suspend your disbelief. You know, plus it does have some very obvious parallels to abuse that women may encounter that you could make with this type of film. That, you know, like this is the kind of, I don't know, it's in there and it actually takes its time so that you can understand what that's like as someone feeling trapped in a relationship like that, and does so without actually making you question its authenticity. Or somehow making it seem pushy, like so many people screech on the internet about, you know, you're pushing an agenda. It's like, you know, what, are we not allowed to tell stories like this anymore? Like, I just don't agree with that 100%. I can understand feeling pushy, but like just seeing it in a movie does not mean it's an agenda. Okay. And this movie does a good job of not pushing some sort of agenda, but more to push the story and this sort of setting that they provided for this movie. You know, it makes sense. It all works together. So for those easily triggered, you'll be all right. Don't worry. Okay, buddy? Maybe have a little sip of some Quarantini, you'll be all right. But plus, you know, it sort of dives in off the get with the intensity because it's like real tense. Like, I mean, I'm not going to spoil it for you, but it's right off the bat. Like the first scene, the very first scene is her trying to
escape.
Yeah. I guess one could argue that it should have made you hate the protagonist a little bit more by sort of showing you more of why the character is so bad. But I think that they did it tastefully and they were still able to pull off that feeling.
Right.
So I could see some people maybe feel that way a little bit without spoiling it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've been a little hesitant, though, to check this one out. We were going to go see it and things came up, which I'm sure
in
you'll
the theater.
explain. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that all subsided as soon as I watched this movie. Like, as soon as I started watching it, I was engrossed into the film immediately, and it kept me and my attention through the whole way through. I think Lee Wannell has done some really good writing in the scene for horror, in my opinion. His direction has been sprouting as of late, too, with him not only writing this one, but also directing it. And I think it's a winning combination. Like, he really knew how it was going to flow. And it's really important in a pacing movie.
Oh, especially
to be written and directed almost. It feels like the best thrillers that I always see, not always, but some of the best are written and directed by the same people.
Right.
Sometimes it works out, but now does this beat the H.G. Wells original old Universal Invisible Man? I mean, that's kind of weird to say because it's a very old film, one. And two, this is a very separate, different type of film that has a few minor nods to the original in the film to sort of pay homage to it, but nothing that is story driven.
Right. You had to point those out to me
Right.
and I was like, oh, okay.
Right. Yeah. There was just a couple of images, I guess you could say, throughout the movie that were to say tip of the hat, to the Invisible Man.
Right.
The original. But this is very much its own thing, guys. And it has some twists, but not too many. And ones that I actually didn't mind too, because inevitably the end is really where it could flop. You could spin around the bars for a million times, but if you dismount and roll and bust your head on it fucking on the floor, then it's really not gonna be remembered. You know what I mean? Right. People forget it. They're like, oh yeah, you remember when they flopped like so hard on the ground and busted their head open and beans poured out?
Beans?
I'm just making sure you're paying attention, Christina. I know I get wordy, but I'm almost done, guys. Don't worry.
Very wordy.
Plus, the way they do things in the film felt very much like a technical feat for filmmaking, which all the movies have dabbled in, because how do you make an invisible man invisible and seem like he's attacking or doing things, like it's usually strings or CGI, and they kind of used a really good balance of both, I think, in this one. Yeah. And I don't know how they did it, and I would be glad to see how they did it in the making of, in the Blu-ray or whatever that comes out, because I really want to see it. Like, it was really good. Like, there was some aggressive scenes in the movie that were just like,
oh yeah,
holy
how did
shit.
They do that?
Yeah, like that looks legit.
Yeah.
And I was like impressed with it. That really took it a notch up too.
They must have made an Invisible Man suit for this movie.
Well, I mean, they could green screen it, but that's a lot more technical than people realize.
Totally.
You know what I mean? Unless you are simultaneously, you put a camera on a tripod and you have it flow, not a tripod, but more like on a gimbal, I think that's what it's called, where they ride it on a track and do it at the same time as, every take.
Right.
So that they act within that same time, so they could do the background of it at the same time and then cut him out at the same time.
Choreographing nightmare.
I don't know if I'm making sense, but anyway, I think it's a damn good movie, and I definitely rewatched the shit out of this fucking movie. I'd say this is probably an 8.5 overall. It's a damn good film that is close to perfection if it wasn't sort of borrowing from familiar stories.
Right.
In a way. But it's done really well outside of the genre of these typical type of films. So, and it makes it kind of horror and gory and kind of fucked up. I thought it was really good, but I think it's still worth watching and owning. So I hope we pick it up.
Right.
What about you?
Well, I think we'll probably pick it up.
You liked it?
Yeah. So when I saw the trailer, I was like, oh, this is cool. And then also, I felt the same way when I saw the Fantasy Island trailer. But we went and saw Fantasy Island. Oof. I was extremely disappointed. So going into this and watching this movie, my hopes weren't that high.
Right. It's like, how do you make a Fantasy Island movie where you could do all these similar things and it just doesn't work? And then they do this and it's like really good.
And then it's really good.
But it is Lee Wannell, and he does have somewhat of a good mind for these kind of things. But anyway.
Right, which makes sense. And I don't know if it has anything to do with what you're saying about the Blumhouse and Universal thing.
Right.
But that might have a little bit to do with it. But and then, like you mentioned, the H.G. Wells story, I know it doesn't have a lot to do with the story. It's just like they just took parts of the main thing out of his and they just reinterpreted, which I really, really liked the story.
Yeah.
I felt the plot it was a little predictable, like
Okay.
you were saying. It was kind of tropey and obvious, especially in the beginning.
They do have some good twists, though. You don't think?
I was just gonna say that it was worth it. It was worth sitting through. You said the pacing was good. I thought the pacing was a little.
Yeah, but you're
bit
not much.
slow.
You're not very tolerant of pacing.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it was good pacing.
Exactly. Just like in some parts, it's like you're looking and it's like, okay, is that guy there? Is the invisible guy there? Like what's going on?
I like that.
You
I
know?
really appreciate the shots that they took the time with.
Right.
Like, I think that if they would have rushed it, it would have been just that bubblegum bullshit that I was talking about.
Right. But it's totally worth the twist at the end. Mm-hmm. Totally worth it. Oh, and I kind of got a little bit frustrated with this movie in a good way. Like, it made me feel uncomfortable, but it made me, like, pay attention.
You mean frustrated with the fact that no one was believing her? Is that kind of what you mean?
That was really frustrating.
That means they did a good job.
Yeah, exactly. That was really frustrating. It's like,
Because
no
it's
one's
not-
going to believe her? Jesus Christ.
Yeah, and it's like it doesn't wait. It waits for practically the whole fucking movie. So it is kind of
Right.
frustrating. I can see that.
Yeah, totally. And it made me think of like Harry Potter's the invisibility cloak.
Okay, yeah.
I was like, oh, well, why didn't they just use an invisibility cloak?
Yeah.
Why did he have to create a suit? But anyway,
If Harry Potter was
abusive
ex-boyfriend.
Yeah.
Hermione, I'm watching you.
But I also wrote down that this made me really want to watch on the total other end of the spectrum, Memoirs of an Invisible Man.
Oh, with
The
Chevy Chase?
Chevy Chase and Daryl Hannah.
I was thinking about that too, because
you?
I was thinking of Hollow Man, and I was thinking about Hollow Man 1 and 2, and then that one. I was like, that wasn't a bad movie that I recall.
Right.
It was kind of funny, but it wasn't like too funny.
Right.
It was like done in a regular way.
I want to rewatch
It was
that
like the
one.
ghost dad for Chevy Chase.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like Bill Cosby's ghost dad for Chevy Chase.
Oh my God. But I gave this an 8 out of 10.
Really? Okay,
Yeah.
well, that's
so we'll
good.
probably buy it on 4K someday. when we
It's
have money.
really a dark film in a lot of ways.
Yeah, it really is.
And I think Elizabeth Moss did a really good job. Because I'll be honest, I know this sounds fucking really shallow, but I don't find her like attractive. But she's a really good actress.
She's a great actress, and she
I'm
reminds
not saying
me
that
of.
someone needs to be attractive for them to be a good actress. I'm
She
just
reminds
saying
me of Toni Collette.
she did a really good job.
Yeah.
I don't know about Toni Collette. Toni Collette is good.
But she's also older. She's had more experience. But everybody gives her shit because she's not a good-looking woman.
Elizabeth Moss is a good actress.
Yeah,
I'll
is.
say that. She really impressed me here.
That shit pisses me off because I have read some reviews where they're like, I don't understand why a rich man would get with an ugly white woman or something like that. And I'm like, that's not the point. Like, you're missing the point.
Did really people say that?
Yeah, people did, and women said that too. That should piss me off. But anyway,
I mean, she's that now. I feel bad. So, guys, we're going to get into some of our spoilers. We do have spoilers that we want to talk about for those of you who have seen the movie. If you haven't, of course, like I mentioned before, go down to our timestamps in our fucking episode and you can see for yourself. You can either go to the link or follow the information in the episode and go to the point in the episode where we are talking about the next movie, which is The Hunt, and check out the spoiler-free review on that. Here is your warning. So we don't have trivia, actually, on this. It's mostly just scenes and spoilers that I wanted to talk about. But I wanted to ask you, did you feel they needed to add more story as to how controlling the bad guy was?
no.
Or did you feel it was, good the way it was?
We're in the spoiler section, right?
Yeah, we're talking about, because we had this conversation while we were watching it, sort of.
Right.
And I wanted to bring it up.
So I don't think so because right towards the end, you started to, okay, this is for me. I started thinking, oh my God, maybe she was overreacting to him.
She made it all up.
Yeah, or she didn't make it all up, but maybe she was just overreacting.
What a twist
You know
that
what
would
I
have been
mean?
if people would have been upset
Yeah.
if it was that way.
Oh, I would have been upset.
They would have fucking boycotted the
Yeah.
fucking movie.
Yeah, but I think it was his kidnapping incident. It was you start questioning it. Oh, did the brother, blah, blah, blah,
Right. Yeah,
So,
I thought,
I don't
because
think
we
they
had
need to
talked
add
about,
it.
we were like, well, at least they didn't have a rape scene.
Yes,
That's
I
what we
really
were talking about that.
I really appreciate that.
Yeah. And I think
They
that
didn't need to.
I don't think you need to. If you know how to do it right, you can make a creepy person creepy without showing that necessarily. But
And they did it.
I don't know, is it considered lazy if they don't show it, or is it considered too much if they do? I mean, I've seen movies that are good movies that have had those moments in them, and I don't disrespect or hate these movies because they've had them in them, but I totally understand not wanting to see it, because when I see it happening, I don't like it, but sometimes that moment is pivotal in how I feel towards the movie. Do you see what I'm
Right.
saying? That's why I'm asking.
Right, and I think if you would have known how she got pregnant,
Right.
like, would that whole situation in the moment change for you if you would have seen the scene of a ghost fucking her, pretty much, you know?
Well, they did that in the fucking movie, what was it, The Entity? Where
Oh, yeah, that's
remember they
right.
used the air, the like
that was
blue
so
air on her boobs and stuff to
stupid.
make it seem like there was hands on her boobs.
So stupid.
Yeah, they just removed the sound and then went in afterwards. Yeah, isn't that crazy? That movie is pretty intense. And then they also have Ghostbusters where he gets a blowjob from a ghost. Remember?
Yeah, I remember.
We ain't afraid of no ghosts.
Not if they're giving you a blowjob.
Dude, that's totally fucking his fantasy. And I've heard him talk about it. Danny Aykroyd.
Yeah.
Dan Aykroyd. He's totally, that's his fucking
Right,
fantasy. Like,
right.
when he was a kid, he dreamt about that.
Right.
He was like, man, what if ghosts give blowjobs? Anyway, so we're way off
We
the
can
topic.
stop talking about ghost sex.
Ghost jobs?
Rape. Ghost jobs.
Paranormal, I don't know what it is.
There's some of the scenes, though, I was like,
Paralingus?
Oh my God. You're out of control.
Paralingus! Okay, never mind. I'm stupid, guys. I'm sorry. So anyway, back to the Invisible Man.
Oh, what was I going to say?
I don't
Oh, because you were saying with some of the scenes when they're fighting, and they did a really good job. I don't know how the fuck they did that, but it looked like, do you think maybe they got an actual poltergeist? They summoned a poltergeist.
Oh, you said that. I didn't think so.
They summoned a poltergeist to beat her up
Yeah.
for the scenes.
That was a really cool scene, though. When
That's what it looked
you're talking
like.
about the one in the kitchen?
Yes.
That was where I was like, how the fuck did they do this?
Yeah.
Like, how did they do it? Like, so I really want to see the extras on the Blu-ray.
Right.
Because, like, I really want to know. Like, because it seems like what they did was really cool. Also, I wanted to mention the beginning of the movie, because this is what really eased me into the whole film. Is that, one, she's trying to escape. The movie starts off with her waking up, laying next to Adrian, her boyfriend, or whatever, and he's got his arm over her, and she's like, pulls his arm off of her, sets it down, climbs out of bed like really slowly, walks around to the other side of the bed, says his name softly to make sure he's not listening. You see the diazepam bottle or whatever.
And then she grabbed the thing of water, which had the diazepam sprinkled in.
Right, so
Yeah.
that they wouldn't find it.
Right. And then goes and she turns the camera to him to watch to make sure he doesn't wake up.
Every single one of those steps and the tension that was in there, it really made you feel like, okay, she's really scared.
Yeah,
she's really scared. So whether we know what he has done to her in the past or not, nobody would act this way unless they were really fucking scared.
Right. And what really fucking freaked me out is when she was getting into the sister's car and he just comes flying towards the window.
Get out of the car now.
Window. Yeah. It's crazy. I was like, Jesus
And then he punches
Christ.
the window.
Yeah, it breaks the window.
Like, Jesus Christ, dude, calm the fuck down. You know how hard it, I mean, it's not impossible to punch a window and break it, but it's not easy.
Right.
You know, like,
especially a car window.
Yeah,
those are really hard.
When I was a kid, I did some dumb shit, and it's not easy. Right. You'll hurt yourself.
Yeah, I tried to break a window once because I locked my keys in the car.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
And oh my God, I had to get a hammer, and then it was literally like I had to bang, 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 bang.
I don't know. It's just crazy thinking about all the little steps that they did. And you say it's slow, but to me, those are very necessary shots and things to really build the pacing. Plus, I really like the characters in this. I didn't mention that in the spoiler. The characters in this are really likable. Like,
yeah, I love the daughter.
Right, like that. You really feel like there's a connection there.
Yeah,
you know, like they
really
all like really got along.
And the sister,
right?
Yeah.
Well, the sister was like really bitter, and you could like right off the. It was just written well.
Yeah,
it was written really well
and acted really well.
And again, it's nothing that's like super groundbreaking, but it still does a really good job of fucking painting the picture and doing it really well and making a good film in the end.
Right.
So there was that one point where when she finds the suit, because you find out at some point that it's a suit. I thought for the whole time, I was like thinking, did he spray himself? Like I thought that little rig, remember? Because when she's leaving, she walks past his fucking studio.
Right.
And she looks in that window for like 10 seconds and she looks inside in there and look, I thought it was like a spray tanner type thing where it like, it sprays, but it was holding the suit.
Holding it, yeah.
And so when she goes in and she grabs the suit, do you think that was legit? Like the suit looked cool, or do you think it was like too much?
I don't know. Now that you said something.
I just wonder how that kind of thing would be powered.
Oh, I see. The suit needed to be connected because when she was on the monitor, remember? And she had to hit mode because she didn't even know what it was until she hit that mode button. So that's why it was hooked up to the spray tan.
Right. Like scientifically, there's a lot of missteps here, but you suspend your disbelief for it just enough.
Well, it's not real.
Right. But I'm just saying, like, like this guy's a genius. He makes all this technology. I'm thinking if there's all these cameras in there, he must be in like stage 25, because like, how is he powering like all of these cameras to be able to reflect that much fucking.
When you're talking about the technology, maybe you reminded me something bothered me really much. She had her fucking cell phone on the entire time.
Right.
Like, hello, he's tracking you, dumbass.
Yeah, and she can't figure it out. How is he finding me? It's like all he had to do is put a fucking thing on his phone, and if he's that crazy, it wouldn't be that far-fetched. And yet, you didn't get a new phone the whole fucking movie?
Exactly. Get a burner phone, for Christ's sakes.
Yeah.
Another thing that I thought was really amusing, too, is when they had the big fight in the house, and she ran out of the house, right? And she's standing in the middle of the street. And I didn't even realize. I was like, why is she just getting into that car? I didn't realize she got an Uber. Yeah. Like, I thought that was really,
that was a really quick Uber, too, by the way.
Yeah, I was like, dang, these Ubers are
They didn't say it was Uber, but...
Well, a ride-sharing one.
Could have been Lyft, guys.
Yeah,
we don't
know.
In the battle of best rides. I mean, everybody's hurting right now, though. Fuck.
Oh, my God.
Think about that.
They
like,
really
would you
are.
Want strangers getting in your car during this time?
No, I actually didn't take, because I'm on Waymo now, the driverless cars, and I was like, oh, I need to take that. And the Saturday I was going to take it, I talked myself out of it because I was like, I don't know who's been in that car. I don't know if they've sanitized that car.
Fuck, man. We're going to be like fucking... It's like when you think that when you've had bugs crawling on you, you just can't get that thought out of your head. Now it's like you got viruses crawling all over everything.
Well, you know what I do to protect myself? Because I was going to work every day. Anyway, what other scenes you like?
I thought, the point I was trying to make was that I thought they were going to have an invisible battle with that suit.
Oh, yeah,
I thought
saying that.
She was going to go invisible and start hunting him, which I thought would be kind of an interesting twist too, but they didn't end up doing that.
I liked what they did.
Although the end,
it was, but I don't know what else they could have done. I guess it was good for.
But I'm just saying, like, how would they fight? Like, they wouldn't be able to see each other.
We wouldn't be able to see them fight.
I know. What a boring fucking movie that would be.
That's probably why they didn't do it.
That would have been a boring scene.
But I did like it when she flicked the paint on him.
Although cool. They could have made it cool though, because like you could see her grab a knife and it floating around, and them sort of like trying to stab each other,
even though they can't even see each other.
Right? You know what I mean? Like, and like maybe someone slamming into a wall.
Speaking of the floating knives, oh my God, the scene when the sister got killed. Holy shit. I think I was screaming. I was like, what the fuck?
Wait,
what the fuck?
Oh,
when the sister got killed in the restaurant.
No! That's what you said. No!
That was like, and that shit was bloody.
Yeah, it was.
Bloody.
Yeah, he puts the knife right in her hand. It's like zip.
Yeah, it was like,
and she's like, wait, what the fuck?
And it was like a good minute. She was just holding the knife like, what the fuck?
And everybody's like freaking out. Like, and I just, man, that helplessness feeling is very frustrating.
Yeah, frustrating. Exactly. It is.
And I think that's why it did a good job, because I don't think a lot of people really understand what that's like.
Right.
To have that kind of feeling.
Right.
when you are accused of lying.
Right.
I'm not saying that people don't lie and make stuff up about that kind of thing. You know what I mean?
But it
is a
happens,
very
obviously.
Yeah, like I don't think it was pushy though, because it made me feel something that I hadn't, you know, like maybe as a man or just as someone who hasn't had any kind of abuse like that. I've had mental abuse from many ex-girlfriends.
Right.
And bitches, you know who you are. So fuck you.
No, I don't understand the pushiness of it. I don't think it was pushy at all. And then I did think, I was like, okay, so what if the roles were reversed? Like, what if it was the woman and a man?
Right. Well, I was wondering if they were going to go there. But like I said, it would have pissed a lot of people off if they did.
Yeah, but also with the whole pregnancy thing, they had that element to it. And yeah, it worked better like this, honestly. And as much as, of course, if you don't want to watch a woman like being abused, then you shouldn't see this movie.
No, and if you guys haven't seen this movie, we're going to go over the last end of the movie just because I want to get her opinion on this because I'm curious. What did you think about the fact that the ending? How did you feel about that? Because it's almost like a bittersweet ending.
Well, okay, so
it's like on one hand, it's like fulfills some weird fantasy you have in your head. But on the other end, they don't really explain what he did to justify all of it. And if he actually did it in some regard, too. So it kind of leaves it in that weird...
I don't think they needed to explain why he did it, because people just do shit like that. So
right, but I think it wanted to toy with that a little bit and mess with like people who may not know. Because if we thought for a second that the roles were reversed, or if she actually did, all of this really did happen, then that means that there's somebody out there that probably thought no doubt that she was making it all up.
Well, right.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, and you know what? I'm sure there's still people who are going to think that.
Yeah.
And that, but just her character and what she felt like she'd been through, she knew she wasn't going to get justice, and no one was going to believe her, obviously, because they'd never believe her. Yeah. And that's why she had to kill him. Right. Because that was the only way it was going to stop.
I thought it was a cool ending, although, like I said, it's bittersweet. Like, it feels very bitter and very sweet.
Right.
Because her friend, what was the guy's name? The guy she was staying with? James. Like, fucking bug just flew right at my face.
Oh my god, it's gonna lay eggs in you. It has the virus.
It's gonna lay eggs in my mouth. But James, he like is a really cool character, and you really like him because he's very sympathetic. Even though he's a hard time believing her, he trusts in her. Right. He tries to give her the benefit of the doubt, and it's like you really like him. And so, in a way, I felt like she let him down at the end of the movie. So it kind of was like, oh, now they're not friends, you know? Right. I know that sounds so stupid,
but if she would have left Adrian alive, she couldn't even have that chance to be a friend with him.
Because that look he gives her.
Yeah.
He's like, well, so. She's like, I know it seems that way, but I didn't, you know, I'm fine though. Everything's fine, you know? And he's like, she's like, what does it look like? What did it sound like to you? And she said, well, it sounds like he killed himself.
Right.
But he's saying it like, I guess,
yeah, I have to say this.
Justice is served.
Right. Because you can't prove that she killed him. She had an invisible suit on.
Right. But they already proved that the invisible suit was there. So that is kind of a loose
but
end.
They confiscated that
and he
one
sees
suit,
it
so
in
they
her
don't
bag.
know. Oh, well, yeah. Well, he knew, but there was no way he could prove it. And what's the point? He was a piece of shit anyway. Like,
right.
Why go through that?
But that look he gives her after she walks by.
Well, it's because he's a good guy. Like, he's a cop. He's a good guy. He has a daughter. He thinks that even if somebody gets killed that probably deserved it, that they should still go through the process. That's why, because he's a cop.
Well, he did kill her sister, or so we think.
Right.
We don't know if it was his brother or not.
It wasn't the brother.
What did you think of that twist?
I liked it a lot, because then it made me think, oh shit. Like, I thought Adrian was dead. Like, he really did kill himself. And then the brother took over. I didn't think Adrian was still alive.
Right. It's interesting.
So
There's an interesting twist. Yeah.
I liked it.
I knew that she was going to come back to that suit at some point because she hid it in that special spot.
But she hid it because she wanted to show somebody to prove her point.
Right.
But she could never get to that point because he wouldn't let her.
Right. I don't know. It's a good movie, though. It's not perfect.
Now, I did enjoy watching it at home and instead of in the theater because we could pause it and we could talk to each other when the movie was going on.
Right, but I still like watching it in the theater.
I don't know.
I like the process.
I liked it at home, and I only got on my phone once.
I don't want this to be a normal thing. I like going to the theater. I think going out is a big deal for me. It's like...
Oh, well, yeah, because you don't ever get out.
Yeah, well, fuck you.
Yeah, but I like yelling at the TV screen when somebody dies.
It's always more intimate, and we have a nice big TV, and we have a nice surround sound system, so it is kind of nice, and we don't have to worry about scratching our nuts or smelling bad or being uncomfortable.
Or listening to other people fucking talk.
Yeah, that's
being
true.
A jackass.
Although Murray
movie.
did bark a couple of times.
He did bark, but that's okay because he's cute.
We hit him, though. We made him go to sleep.
Shut up. No, we didn't. Don't say that. It's not funny. You don't joke about abusing dogs. God damn it.
You do, and it's not real. Anyway. So we do have another movie that we're going to be talking about here, guys, and that is The Hunt 2020. That came out in theaters for like a week, and then they said, yoink.
Yep.
We're going to put it out on fucking VOD for early access.
Because it didn't do anything at the box office, huh?
Yeah, we'll get into that a little bit more here.
Okay, sorry.
But the story is 12 strangers wake up at a clearing. They don't know where they are or how they got there. They don't know they've been chosen for a very specific purpose. The hunt. Is it really specific? We'll get into that later. No. Okay. So this is directed and produced by Craig Zobel, who has worked on Great World of Sound, Compliance Z for Zachariah. This is also written and produced by Nick Cuse, who has done 2 episodes of The Leftovers, as well as a staff writer on 10 of them. He's also wrote 3 episodes on Maniac on Netflix, which is the one with Jonah Hill.
Yeah, Jonah Hill. Okay.
Jonah Hill and the red-haired girl who always got into trouble. Famous actress.
Lindsay Lohan?
Yeah, I think it is.
Oh,
It's Lindsay Lohan and Jonah Hill. Remember they're locked up in a psychiatric ward and they take all this medication and it makes them trip out and shit and see stuff and they share dreams and shit.
That was not Lindsay.
Well, whatever her name is, she's red hair.
Yeah,
she was in Herbie movie, the remake of Herbie.
It was Lindsay Lohan.
Yeah. So he also did 2 episodes of the Watchmen TV show, and he also produced those last 2 and The Hunt. Plus, it also was written and produced by Damon Lindelof, one of the Lost series creators, by the way.
Really? Mm-hmm. I loved that show.
He also wrote Cowboys and Aliens, Prometheus, World War Z, Star Trek Into Darkness. He did some Watchmen episodes, and he's the creator for Leftovers, The Leftovers.
I haven't seen that. Is that a show?
I think so. Yeah, it is a TV show, but I don't know much about it. I forget. I've seen it. I know I've seen a trailer for it. I just don't remember what it's about. Mm-hmm. So what do you guys think? You like it? Also, the cast of this movie is Betty Gilpin, who plays Christo. She was in the Walker TV series, Nurse Jackie TV series, Masters of Sex TV series, Stuber movie, Glow TV series, and the Grudge movie that just came out in 2020. Also has Hilary Swank, who plays Athena. She was in $1 Million Baby, BoJack Horseman, I Am Mother, Logan Lucky, 1114, The Core, Insomnia, Sometimes They Come Back Again, Buffy the Vampire Slayer movie, and plenty more. Also has Ike Barinholtz, who plays the character Staten Island, because they don't really say his name. He was in Suicide Squad, Disaster Movie, Neighbors 1 and 2, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and The Oath. Also has Ethan Suplee, who plays Gary, who is in American History X, Butterfly Effect, Mallrats, Wolf of Wall Street, and many more. He's the guy that lost all that weight recently that everybody's freaking out about. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
He's actually pretty thin in this movie, too.
Yeah, he is.
So this was like the transition movie where he was like going to buff dude now.
Right.
He's got like a
Rambo.
beard. Yeah, dude, he's like buff as fuck, dude. Also has Wayne Duvall, who plays Don. He was in Oh Brother, Where Art Thou, Lincoln, Prisoners, Fargo, Gotham, The Leftovers, and more. It also has Emma Roberts, who plays Yoga Pants. She was in, obviously, American Horror Story, several seasons, Screen Queens, Where the Millers, Nerve, and more. The budget for this movie was $14 million. Even though it got pulled early from the theaters, just this time, not before,
right?
Because it did release in theaters here a few weeks ago,
right?
And I think it was still in there until they started closing down theaters. It made $6.5 million at the box office, so that's probably one weekend,
right?
And because of the plague, it'll be interesting to see how it does via the early access at-home sales if they even tell people.
Right.
They'll probably just say it was very successful or it was okay. We're still sticking to, theaters.
We're going to gouge the prices.
Right. So, Christina, what are your thoughts on this fine movie?
I forgot it's my turn.
Yeah.
This movie really kicks off Like, I was like, holy shit.
And this is our spoiler-free, guys, so don't worry.
Yeah, I'm not going to spoil anything. So it really kicks off. It's really good the first 30 to 45 minutes.
Okay.
And then it just totally went off the rails, as in a bad thing.
Kind of with you there.
Yeah. I think it's because once they started into the actual character development of the characters in the story, like, it really just started to lag.
Yeah, like the explanation of why it was happening became very stupid.
Why it was happening, why those specific people was there. Yeah, and then it just totally... I really thought they could have taken this movie further, but they probably wanted to keep it safe.
Right.
Like, that they didn't want to offend
politically, you're saying.
too many people. But I did think they were trying to accomplish a storyline like an American Story cult, the cult season, because I thought they did a really good job, and I think they were trying to achieve that, but they didn't quite get there.
I might vary with you. I'm on that.
Right. And of course that was a show, and this is, an hour and a half movie.
Right.
So it's a little different. But
yeah, 45 minutes went by like,
yeah,
boom,
it really did.
like
and
fast.
Then,
I looked up and I was like, holy shit,
like,
it's almost halfway over.
Yeah, and then it just... It was just, I don't know what I don't even know what they could have done. But anyway, I honestly think that first 45 minutes, totally worth it. You should watch it just for that first
It's worth
part.
owning for that reason alone, I think.
It really is. It really is.
Did you think it was funny? You never mentioned anything about funny.
Yeah. I did think it was really funny. I thought all of the characters were funny. You couldn't take anybody seriously.
Yeah.
Like, everybody was just doing their predictable part. Like,
typical.
Yeah. Just their typical part, like, over the top.
Yeah.
Over the top funny, which is really good. Until about things started getting a little bit serious, and then again, like, it kind of wore on the humor too.
Yeah, it's like it got serious even though it was less funny at that point in time, and there really wasn't a message.
Right, there was no message whatsoever.
Yeah.
And I won't spoil anything, but the ending, I just wish there was a little bit more. I did like the fighting scenes. I like how they gave them weapons. It was in the trailer to fight them. I liked all that combattery, and some of the scenes between the women fighting reminded me of Kill Bill.
Yeah.
See, which I really liked. But anyway, I ended up giving this just like a 6 out of 10 because it
really
was. But I do think people should watch it for the first 45 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah. And what about you, Mr. Alex?
Well, I mean, obviously, I wanted to see this for a long, long time before all the controversy. So when I saw the trailer, I was like, "Oh, cool! This looks awesome. It looks like fun. Like it's making fun of everything. And that's how I took it. I mean, if you guys aren't familiar with like what the whole situation was, I'm going to detail it for you as quick as I possibly can. At the end of the year of this past year, this movie was going to release before anyone had actually seen the damn thing. The trailer used the word hunting deplorables, and that sure did trigger a lot of people because it insinuated that they were referring to Trump supporters, which technically they were, because they don't say it outright in the movie necessarily, but that's what they were saying.
Right.
So a lot of the people on the right, including the President of the United States, Trump himself, said it was disgusting and that it should be taken down. Yeah, I think it was like something.
And he probably didn't even see it, but anyway.
No, of course he didn't. He doesn't see anything. He's just he knows everything. He knows everything, or at least he bullshits his way through it anyway. So Universal and Blumhouse put the release on hold, saying this just isn't the right time, guys, and we didn't think about it. There were other people, though, behind the scenes who had made the movie who were like, yeah, but that's not what this movie is about. It's not like you think, because if they are hunting the bad guys who are Trump supporters, technically the guys being hunted are the good guys, because in all of these stories, they come up. And that's what everybody kept arguing. Like, doesn't make any sense. Why are you guys getting triggered? Snowflakes, because of course, because that's like a common terminology that's used on each other. But fast forward to this year, and the movie's about to release under the fucked up coronavirus pandemic that we're currently dealing with now. Since nobody was leaving the house, and of course a lot of the theaters were closing, they decided to put the movie out as an early home release for $20 a pop. Same thing with Invisible Man. So although, Invisible Man was out a little bit more for like a month, before they put it out like this. But I figured I think they figured, yeah, we might not see any money for this for a long time. Let's get it now while the getting's good.
Yeah.
So, was it all that controversial, guys? I don't think so. Not really. As exclaimed by many, the idea that there was this elite group out to hunt deplorables is true in the most ridiculous sense, but the deplorables are the good guys, like we assumed.
Right.
And I'd used good guys lightly, but man, this movie really takes off right away with dark comedy and horror and gore.
Oh, yeah.
It's gore-filled and silly. The first half is fucking hilarious and had me super excited for this movie. The pacing was just fucking outstanding. And not because supposed deplorables were getting picked off, mind you, but because it's so absurd. Right. It's funny.
Yeah, bodies are exploding.
Right. Imagine, if you will, a heated conversation about politics between a few people on the right and the left on Twitter. Now imagine while they're debating online with this vitriol towards one another to somehow save the world or shine a light on the conspiracy or whatever it is that they're arguing about, that there's a physical war playing out each harsh word or name calling. Okay? That's essentially what you get with The Hunt, because it is making fun of that kind of exchange.
Right.
In my opinion.
It is, though.
And superiorly on the nose with that as well later on, but I won't spoil what I mean by that. But for those of you who have seen it, you'll know what I'm talking about. But it's a fun movie that paints one side just as stupid as the other.
Exactly.
And, shows how misunderstandings turn into this kind of bullshit. And fighting to the death based on their own perceived misconceptions of one another. It should have enough in here for each side to delight in, and some of the nonsense that most of us see on a daily basis online from the sidelines. Mm-hmm. It's very much, in my opinion, an outsider's view of the vitriolic behavior of online anonymity. You know what I mean? Because people can say whatever they want, but when they actually sit and talk in person, they might get in an argument, but it's usually not as vitriolic as that.
Right.
It's a different thing. So it sort of shines a light on the hypocritical nature of us all, especially online, because sometimes the most vocal, right or wrong, have more to hide and are just as fucked up as the people they're pointing at.
Right.
Or are just as stupid and are agenda ridden as the other. Sure, I may be making it seem like this movie has an agenda, but you'd be wrong. There really is no message that shines a light on anything, on any party of any side. It's really just making fun of everybody.
Right. In
the whole political spectrum right now. And it's really funny. In the beginning, really funny. I was cackling, laughing, at some parts. And the gore, too. We were just
ridiculous.
Whoa! We were really into it. But like you said, halfway through, man, movie goes down. But that's, some of the charm of it, and also some of the downfall of it is that it became kind of a joke of itself.
Right.
And that said, I still think it does a good job of painting society as out for itself. Obviously more so Americans in general, but it does devolve into more silliness, and it felt like it leaned heavier on the spoof side of things by the end.
Right.
Which is where it really turned me off a little bit, which is a shame too, because it's so fun and definitely not a bad watch. But you do realize by the end that it's just pointless.
Right.
Which is really sad because in some respects I understand. It's you're not really supposed to pick a winner. We're really just making fun of everything. And I feel like it should have ended on a different way. And I won't say how it ended or anything like that, so don't worry. I think maybe the message that maybe they're trying to have, or the overall message is just pointing out, we just need to chill out and take the bumpy ride known as life. It's not as bad as we all perceive it to be, even though there are people out there that are disgusting.
Right.
But the people that are out there are disgusting is everyone. And I think that's really what the message of this movie is. So I liked it, but I wish it was a little bit better. I'd say I'd give it a 7. It's good, but it really does fall apart by the end. And, I think the woman who'd played Crystal in the movie was really good.
She did really good.
She's gonna, she's done stuff, but she was really good. I was really impressed with her. She did better than Hilary Swank, because Hilary Swank was doing her bitchy thing, which is typical of her. But this girl, she was badass.
She made me think she was in the military.
She was funny. She was like dry humor funny.
Yeah.
Like she was good. And I really enjoyed her the most.
Yeah.
There are other characters in this movie, a lot of really strong characters in this movie, and like surprises that you'll be like, holy shit, wait, what? So I think it's worth a watch. I don't know if it's worth renting for $20.
No, it's not.
You know, if a movie was like a 9 or a 10, I would say yeah, but anything below that, I really don't know that it's worth renting at $20 as much as we paid for it. We had a long discussion on whether or not we were going to do it because of everything that's going on right now.
And I was just like, fuck it. Let's just do it. We could talk about it on the podcast. We could do Quarantinis.
We did it for you guys.
We really did.
So, and we wanted to kind of keep the fun going and kind of the excitement that it is, and watch 2 new movies that we didn't get a chance to see because we didn't get to see The Invisible Man. You never even mentioned it.
Oh, I forgot. I'm sorry. Well, we were going to go see it in the theater, but with everything that was going on with my mom, and my mom actually ended up back in the hospital that day.
Right. So we never got to see it.
Yeah, and then it was like immediately after all that is when the virus really started. So it was just like, fuck it. And now the theaters are closed. So, hey, there you go.
But at least we got to see it. Now we're going to have to buy them, and it's going to be, we basically spent like $80 on both movies.
Really?
But that's pretty much it. So you gave it a 6, I gave it a 7, so 6.5 between the two of us on that one. And in The Invisible Man, you gave it an 8, I gave it an 8.5.
Yep.
So 8.25 for us on that one.
Yep.
So that one's the winner, huh?
Yep. Ding, 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 ding.
Ding, 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 ding.
Ding, ding, ding.
So we do have some spoilers that we're going to talk about in this movie to kind of go over some of the stuff. If you've seen the movie, you can listen to this. If you haven't, I highly urge you not to, because there really isn't any spoilers in this movie. It's really just a ride movie. So I guess you could listen, but I'd encourage you to watch it first and come back. We'll always be here. You can always check back and listen to our spoilers section. So it'll make sense to you when you do hear us talk about it.
We warned you.
Yeah. Timestamps are below. As always, you've been warned. So I don't want to jump into something that's like spoilerific, because there's one thing that you freaked out about in the very beginning.
Well, it happened right at the
we're not going to talk about it just yet. We got to ease it in. We can't just fucking stick the dick in the butthole right off the bat and just like.
Why not? Let's get it over
with. You got to ease it in.
Get it over with.
So what did you think about the tone of it, where right off in the beginning of the movie? Like, what did you like? Yeah,
again, right off at the beginning, and it's like you didn't exactly know who these people were, and then everybody was just running around killing each other.
Yeah, you see these hoity-toity guys on a plane, and it's the dude from It's Always Sunny.
Right. I was like, wait a second, is that the Always Sunny in Philadelphia guy? Because he's looked like he's had a lot of surgery.
No, I don't think it's plastic surgery.
Do you think it's lighting or something?
No, he was just thin.
Yeah, no, because
he was extremely thin.
Cheekbones and like this right here, like all this was gone.
I have no idea what the fuck you're talking about.
He's always been thin, though.
I just thought he looked thinner than he does on the show. That's all I thought.
And I thought he had work done, but it doesn't matter. I was like, I didn't recognize him. But anyway, yes, I don't even know what to say. I like how they placed it in a different country.
Yes.
And they kind of had to...
That's a thing that I think they did intentionally to kind of shine a light on what other countries think of us.
Right.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Like, they're like, whatever, it's your fucking problem.
Yeah, especially when they ran into the military in...
Right.
Where are they? Croatia?
They're eating they were in, I think it was Croatia.
Was it Croatia? I forget. But they were just like, what the fuck ever. And even when the fake U.S. ambassador came rolling up, like, they didn't even check. They were just like, here you go, take these Americans, get them away from us.
Right. Yeah. There is some pretty funny jokes in there. Like, we could talk about the Emma Roberts thing now.
Oh, thank you. Oh my God.
Yoga pants chick.
So I know a lot of people don't like Emma Roberts for some reason. I really like her as an actress. I think she's freaking hilarious. I think she's very funny. So when I found out she was going to be in this movie, I did get really excited. I was like, yes, I like Emma Roberts. Blah, blah, blah. And literally 5 minutes, she gets her fucking head blown up. And
she was like, ooh, it almost hit me. And then it's like, and then she's like, you hear the bullet gunshot go off and it's like, whoosh.
and there's a bam! Like, her head blew up.
Yeah, she see it all over that guy's face.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool. And then there's that
funny.
fucking scene with the chick who falls in the pit. She was like, I'm going to have a nice pie after I
It's
get
my
out of this.
birthday.
And I'm going to have a whole pie. And then she
flew back into the pit.
Yes, she gets blown up, like a fucking grenade goes off and blows that guy and her up. And she falls back on the fucking spikes, and someone's like, she's like, here, shoot me, you stupid bitch, or whatever. And like,
Right.
she's like, you fucking
Yeah,
snowflake.
and then bam, she blew her fucking head.
Dude.
Oh yeah, she called him a snowflake.
That was seriously funny,
was
dude.
really funny.
And it was just joke after joke after joke with that shit.
Right.
They go to the fucking goddamn fucking gas station. And holy shit, that was funny as fuck too.
And I liked it when she opened up the donuts and started eating them, and they were poisoned, so she automatically starts foaming at the mouth, and they're like, "What the fuck?"
And I totally called that one guy was from Florida. I was like, that style of dressing like he is totally
so
like
funny.
white trash Florida, whatever you want to call it. You know what I mean?
And then I loved it when
Stereotypical or whatever.
Right. I loved it when so they ended up dying, and then she comes into the gas station, and she knows what's up. Like, she knows they're
No, you're missing a part.
What?
Because there is like, they gas everybody. They throw a gas canister, which makes everybody fucking stop breathing and die.
Oh, yeah.
And the one guy's still breathing and still alive. And then it's the Florida guy.
Right.
And the old man is wearing the gas mask, and she is too. And and he's like, oh yeah, and climate change is real. Bang!
That's right, I forgot about that.
Dude, that shit was fucking funny, man. Like, we were like, oh my God. Like, and then they have this like really fun, the old woman and him have that great going back and forth.
They were great.
And she's like, don't drink that, it's poison. And he's like, oh shit. And she's like, it's too much sugar. And he's like, God damn it.
I didn't know you poisoned
Yeah, I didn't know you poisoned all the drinks too.
No. It just has too much sugar. You're poisoning yourself with the sugar.
Right. That is so funny. And then she comes in.
Yeah.
The crystal girl, who she wants to get a pack of smokes.
Right.
And she's like,
what state am I in?
Yeah, what state am I in? And I'm like, they show the pack, and you always have that little state stamp.
Right, on the
for
bottom.
the cigarettes. Mm-hmm. And they look at the pack, and she says, oh, that'll be $7.25 or whatever the fuck it was. And she's like, slams her head on the fucking table, kicks the old man, grabs the gun, shoots him. He goes flying off. And then the other lady's like cowering, like, please don't shoot me, you know, whatever.
I got grandkids.
And she was like, you fucked up, lady. She's like, Arkansas cigarettes are $6. You fucked up. Bam. That shit was great.
That was funny.
It's like, and that's when everything just kind of, it was really funny for 45 minutes, and then it just kind of stops.
Yeah.
And then it tries to be serious, and then it's like, why are you being serious if there's no fucking message? And the message, the ultimate message is two people, a person on Twitter got doxxed. They got their messages doxxed, and they were in a group text with each other talking about the hunt, when there was no such thing as the hunt.
Right.
And they got their information stolen, and then they were like, all these conspiracy nuts on the right started to believe that there was this hunt for the elites who were hunting fucking deplorables in a game of death, you know what I mean? And it really would never existed until those people kept saying it. So that Athena, who's played by Hilary Swank, decides, okay, well, if you're going to blame me for this shit, I guess we might as well have a fucking hunt, and does a hunt. And
Which is so stupid.
Right. And it's like, and then they grab all these people that were talking shit about them. Like these main, you know, out of 200 people, they pick these 12 people that are going to fall victim to the hunt.
Right.
And because they were talking so much shit and making it all up, that it never existed.
Right.
And then it's like, then she grabs the wrong girl. Like Crystal's not even the same girl that she had, that tweeted at her.
Yeah. their names. She got the name mistaken by like a letter.
Well, see, and that's an example right there. What they're doing is like social. What do they call it? Social justice.
Oh, uh-huh.
Or what do they call it? Like social courtroom, you know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
The social judgment, whatever.
Right.
Where they like cancel culture and like...
Oh, yeah,
do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they were literally doing physical cancel culture by doing the hunt.
Right.
And they got the wrong person.
Right.
And it was like
they got the
everybody was wrong in
person.
the end. So that's why I say that. Like nobody was right and it was all pointless.
And then it made me think, I was like, okay, so is she really like a Republican or is she just like a moderate, not give a shit? Like,
I think she's just an opportunist.
yeah.
I don't think she was ever the person. I believed her when she said that.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I don't know that she belonged to any affiliate. She just had an accent.
Right.
I
She's
don't
from
know.
Mississippi.
Right.
Yeah.
She just had an accent. It doesn't mean that she's who people.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that's what they were trying to say. That just because I have an accent and just because I talk like this doesn't mean that I support that kind of shit.
Right. Exactly.
Right. And she did serve. Okay. Remember? And she was like,
yeah,
good.
she said she served in Afghanistan too, and you could tell. Like that's one thing I liked about the character is the way she acted. It, I was like, shit, that bitch was in the military. Like you could tell. So she must have done some research.
Yeah, because that guy who is training Athena and the elites, he was only like a fucking National Guard.
Yeah, that was funny. He didn't kill him. She didn't kill him either.
Oh, we forgot to mention that one scene that I really liked where Macon Blair is in it, which we've been seeing Macon Blair in a lot of stuff because we started watching Swamp Thing. He's in there. He's the, spoiler alert, devil. He plays the devil in Swamp Thing.
Oh, okay, yeah. Oh my God, why is my mind?
That's Macon Blair. He's in this movie too. He plays the embassy guy.
Oh, okay.
And then she's like, dude, that was a really funny scene too.
That was good.
He's like, so why do you think this is happening? You know, and they're like, well, I don't know. I'm just nobody, man. I don't know. I'm fucking nobody. And he's like, yeah, but it's really strange that they would just pick you guys out of anybody, like trying to get them to admit to their sins, so to speak.
Right.
Without him actually saying it, and she just picks her knees up to her chest, and she's like,
she grabs the shit handle,
and she turns, and then kicks him in the face, and then opens the door and rolls him out, then backs over his head while Don's freaking out in the back. He's like, whoa, don't do that.
He's right out of here. Yeah. It's like, no, he's not. He's a liar.
I thought that was really funny.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, I don't remember if we ever saw Don as part of the elites. Was he actually part of the elites?
I don't know. I think that could have gone either way.
They're kind of obscuring, the line, and I think that's intentional because, again, this is like if Twitter came to life.
Right.
And like an argument.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
That's why I say that, you know what I mean? Like, that's what it feels like to me.
Right.
So, I don't know if it's exactly that, but it's because it's kind of a cool and interesting idea. It just doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't have enough substance to make it, like, it could have been really great, like, in my opinion.
Yeah, it really could have.
And it's so funny to me of how so many people were so upset about this movie being so controversial and would get people to go out and start shooting Republicans. Like, really, dude?
No.
People are just lost their minds in this time. So maybe it's even more of a factor of why this movie is made, and I'm taking it for granted.
Right.
So I don't know. What else? Is there anything else? Oh, that's what I wanted to talk about. When they're fighting in the kitchen, Hilary Swank and that other girl, Athena and Crystal are fighting in the kitchen.
Right.
That's when it got super silly. She was like, no, not the glass again. Don't throw me through the glass again.
No glass, no more glass.
Yeah, it's like they have so much in common and it doesn't make any sense because they're kind of like dancing together rather than fighting. Yeah. It's like they both understand each other at this moment, and it's kind of weird, and they end up dying together almost, but Crystal lives.
Really,
yeah. And I didn't really understand, like, she was, like, drinking that 1905 fucking champagne at the end, and she's like, they were like, how does it taste? And she's like, fucking beautiful.
Yeah, that was weird. I
didn't understand this. What is she now? Is she actually the real elite?
In the beginning, weren't they talking about a certain champagne?
Right. They did. They mentioned it.
Yeah, so maybe that's why. Maybe it was just.
Well, the guy from It's Always Sunny, what's his name?
I don't know.
Anyway,
that guy
he was
Sunny?
talking about it in the very beginning of the movie where the dude wanders out.
So that it just...
Randy walks out, and then they stab him in the face with the pen, and then, like, stick the shoe in his eye, which I thought was kind of funny.
I don't think she was an elite, though.
But, I mean, is she... I don't understand, like...
I think they were just ending it how it began.
Yeah, because she puts on this, like, smoking dress, you know, like... She looks all prestigious
why not?
and shit.
Fuck it.
I don't know. I don't think there's a real message there. I think it's just
because even
like...
the shoes, they showed her in the shoes.
Because she's like, have you ever had caviar? Just like what that guy said.
Beginning where it ended. Ending where it began.
Yeah.
It was the shoes, the caviar, the champagne. That's all how it began.
Yeah, I don't really understand it. I don't know. Is there really a point? It's just like a
silly movie.
It's a moment, but it's a fun moment. Right. It just doesn't have like a long life-lasting message.
It could have been a better moment.
Like there is no lesson to be learned here other than that we're all fucking idiots.
Right, because we are.
And it's pretty funny how they paint each stereotype and shit. It's really funny.
Right.
Yeah, like even when they're arguing in the bunker about stupid shit.
Yeah, about stupid shit, yeah.
And like they're like, oh, that is so racist what you just said.
Yeah, it's okay to call them black people now.
Yeah.
Like that's
they just said it on CNN or something like that.
Yeah, I was like, oh my God. It's ridiculous.
Well, they have been saying that in this voting year, isn't it? They've been like, I always thought
I don't know.
It always seems like in poor taste when they're like, yeah, the black votes are going to blah, 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 blah. And it's like, oh, wait.
Can't we just refer to them as like all votes?
Yeah.
Why do you have
Well, yeah, because they got to win demographics, though. They're only looking at stats. They don't look at everybody like real people. It's like, well, how do we manipulate this demographic? Either side, you know what I mean?
Right.
But yeah, so I think that's pretty much it.
Yep. Bye.
What did you guys think, though? I mean, I'd really like to know what you guys thought of these movies and if it's something that you were interested in watching or you're going to, splurge on the movies since you got nothing to cheer you up and everybody's stuck at home. Everybody keeps talking about the positives. There's negatives plenty. So it's like I think people are just trying to keep hope in their homes. And for that reason alone, since we don't really have to go anywhere, we can provide some sort of entertainment for your weekly endeavors. But yeah, guys, so hopefully that gives you guys some stuff to do this week or the next couple, however many weeks that we're on lockdown. We're going to keep going because we enjoy doing this stuff.
Yeah, might as well. We got a little bit more time now.
Yeah, maybe we'll do some like stuff on YouTube too, or we pick out like top three different movies that are so bad it's good and like talk about it or something. I've been wanting to do that. For me, this is just a regular week because I never leave the house. So the apocalypse is going on outside. I just have no idea.
Right.
But I hope that you guys enjoyed this episode, and please let us know what you guys think in the comment section down below. And definitely don't forget to give us a follow on YouTube at Beyond the Void Horror Podcast. Really means a lot to us. So
stay at home. Wash your hands.
Be safe. Don't practice social distancing, guys.
Don't go to work sick. I will report you.
Yeah. Well, if anybody can, it seems like everybody's not working. So
there's still people working.
As long as the power and the internet are on, we'll be doing this for you guys.
Right.
So, but I wish you guys the best of luck out there. I don't want to hear about anybody getting sick. Be safe out there. We love you. And as always,
long live the void.
Listening to Beyond the Void Horror Podcast. Tune in every